Not only I'm going to show you how to hire a virtual assistant outsource, but also I'm going to show you a few hacks how to save a bunch of time and choose the right person, and also how to save a bunch of money. So the very first thing we need to talk about is when exactly do you want to hire a virtual assistant? This is very simple. Basically what you want to do is you want to calculate your hourly rate. If it is higher than the virtual assistant or whoever you're hiring, then just hire. A lot of people say that maybe wait a little bit and don't hire, do everything yourself. And I do agree to some extent. Maybe do some things first yourself, but after that outsource right away. Basically, let's say your hourly rate is $20 and the VA is $5. You simply are going to get 4 times more done when you hire someone. So it just makes logical sense for you to start outsourcing as soon as possible. By the way, I created a blueprint for the best business model out there, so check the description. You're going to extend your time. You can hire, by the way, part-time. This is what I think a lot of people don't realize. They're afraid to hire because they don't think they have enough tasks for someone. Just hire per project basis even if you want to, and you can also set certain hours per week. I have done that and still do that actually with some of the people that I hire. So the step number 2 is where exactly do you hire? And this is pretty interesting. I'm going to actually leave all of the links. I have some special discounts and bonuses for this, but there is a website, onlinejobs.ph, where basically you can hire a virtual assistant directly. And then you have Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, all of these different kind of websites. What you need to understand about this whole thing is that basically when it comes to, let's say, Fiverr, Upwork, those platforms, they charge 20%. By the way, I have created a document of 50 best growth hacks used by the biggest marketers out there. Check the link below. You don't really realize that because they don't say that they're charging you 20%. It's being charged on the freelancer side. So basically the freelancer just puts 20% on top of his fees because that's what they are paying to the platform. However, the way I do it usually is I just hire freelancers directly and work with them. So I just pay one fee at the beginning, and after that I don't need to keep on paying. So for example, let's say if you have a project that's $1,000, you are actually paying $200, 20% to the platform, and that can really add up very quick when you're hiring a bunch of people. Versus, let's say if I'm hiring a freelancer through this other website, I just pay $69 one-time fee. I can actually hire multiple people through that, and that is it. The platform is not taking anything else. I pay directly to the freelancer, and the only thing I will say is that I'm working directly with a person, whereas with Fiverr, Upwork, all of those kind of things, the platforms help you to handle any issues if there's anything. So that is very useful sometimes, but if you have proper systems, then you will not have any issues. And also, if you want, let's say, some very specific thing and you just want this little project, then custom gigs on Fiverr or actually even like Upwork, they can also work pretty well. So now one thing that as well you really need to understand, otherwise you're going to struggle outsourcing, and this is why I think a lot of people struggle when they talk about outsourcing, is how you get good freelancers. A lot of people, they will just go out, post whatever job posting, and they will just hope for the best, and then they will complain why they're not getting good people to work for them. Basically what you want to do is you have to sell your job. You don't have to have this mentality, or you can't have this mentality that people will just come and apply for your job. Of course, you will have people that apply for that, but if you want to find the top people, they are only applying for the jobs that they are getting a lot from as well, because they are the hot commodity in this case. Be very clear on responsibilities. Tell them maybe what they will learn. A lot of people like to kind of improve their skills. What are certain benefits working with you? For example, with my team, everyone on my team, they have have a flexible schedule. I don't ask them to do 9 to 5. I'm very open to different ideas and things like that. And this is something that you will be surprised how many people don't do that. And at least people that I work with, they appreciate that quite a bit. Now, aside from this, the next step is really important. It can also make or break your thing. So it's job posting. Basically, the first thing is you want to show that you are a growing brand. So show the freelancers how they can grow with you. If let's say you are a small business, but you have a big vision and you're like, hey, start out with me now, and this is where we can level up, and that is going to look great for you as well on your CV. So that's one of the things that you can offer if you are a small business or an individual. Next thing is be very specific with the title. This is where a lot of people make a mistake, because you will get more applications, but it's actually the opposite of that. You want to get as few applications as possible, because having a lot of applications means a lot of work. You'll need to go through all of those applications. So for example, virtual assistant for wellness e-commerce store. It's very narrowed down, but if you manage to find someone that's like, oh yeah, I'm a virtual assistant, I'm really into wellness, perhaps I have some experience working with wellness e-commerce, they are going to be such better fit than just a general virtual assistant. And the last thing is, instead of tasks, what you want to do is you want to give people responsibilities. Basically, everyone just wants to feel like they are important, and this is how you can get those top level people, top level talent. Now, the next step is finding the best applicants, and there are a few little hacks here that you can do. So what you do first is you go through applications, you create a list of the best applicants. By the way, when you do your job posting, I almost forgot, you can create a form that they need to fill up, and check out the description. I will leave information how you can get my form and basically just duplicate it and use it for your own hiring. And this form actually like helps you out to basically scan all of the different applicants, and you just narrow down the list of who are the best, and you leave some notes, maybe, you know, why they really stood out. Really make sure that you look at their portfolio, at the things that they have actually done. The CV really doesn't mean anything. I never honestly even look at CVs. Then what you want to do is basically create some sort of test task. This is actually, you can do this on different levels and depending what kind of position exactly you're hiring for, but the way I like to do it, usually within the application, I'll have a small test task for that specific role, and it shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes, honestly, but that just is a little bit of indicator for you. Sometimes it really helps right away. I can tell, oh, this person is definitely not a good fit just looking at like their little sample of work. And then what I do is I have time management software, so I narrow down to perhaps, let's say, like 3 different candidates, and I give them the same task, or actually even sometimes couple or even few different tasks to test them out. And I basically just see with the timer, and there's a software that also like can show you their screen, all of that, so you can actually see how they went about doing certain tasks, and that really helps you to understand, okay, how their brain works and all of those kind of things. And then this is already, by the way, paid, so I pay for all of these different things when people do these tasks. So yes, people are doing the same tasks, so you are just investing a bit of money, you're not getting the output because people are just doing same thing. But this really helps me to see, okay, who stood out, and then I will hire the best performer. Now, when it comes to working with your VA, there are a few important things here as well. So first of all, you want to have a project management software. That is insanely important, and I will leave all of my recommendations for that. Another little hack here is TransferWise, or now they're just called Wise. It's basically international money transfer, and this is actually just it gives a lot lower fees for transfers, and it also gives way better exchange rates. Believe me, I compared it to everything, to European banks, to American banks. It's way better. So I use Wise for all of my transfers, because then I can just basically pay more money to my employees. So that's a little hack. One thing I also like to do is, as I said, I give flexible schedule for all the people I work with, but I ask them, okay, there has to be, let's say, a minimum hours per day or a week that you are working. So especially if there is something that's very urgent, then okay, I need you to be available, let's say at least 1 or 2 hours a day. And if there's nothing urgent, like do your own thing, you can take a day off and work, double the time the next day. I don't really care, but this helps quite a bit to have this time so people don't get too relaxed, and in case of emergencies, you can always rely on someone. Have usually more than one freelancer on certain things that you work, because things always happen. People get sick, accidents happen, electricity goes out depending where you're hiring people, like a lot of stuff happens. So better to have more than one person, even if you're, let's say, hiring 2 people that are like freelancers. At least now if something happens to one person, it's not like you have no one working on a task. You have another person that can step in and maybe do more work. And what I like to do as well is create a list of recurring tasks. So this is just basically to make the whole workflow easier. I will have certain tasks that, okay, these are the things that if, let's say, I am sick or I decide, okay, I'm going on vacation, I'm gonna go surf in Sri Lanka for a week, then I'm not really active assigning new different things, then they can always go back on these recurring tasks and kind of just work on those things. And then when I'm active and I'm working, I will keep on assigning new things. That has helped out quite a bit working with my team. And just a quick idea of a few sample tasks, because I've got a lot of questions of people asking me actually, what do you assign to your VA? So something like online research, managing social media, sorting out emails, customer support, data entry, keyword research, cold outreach, so on and so forth. Basically all of these things that are sort of fairly manual and you really shouldn't be spending your own time. You can outsource all of that kind of stuff. And again, I will leave all of my recommendations, all of the useful links, special discounts, and all of that kind of stuff.